Well, isn't this a... What? Are you having a seizure? No, you're not. You're just mid.
That's just how I am now.
Just our Midge boy. And this is a gathering of the ancients, if I've never seen one.
Yeah.
Giggle.
This is an interesting...
One of which is invisible.
Menagerie.
One of which is an invisible.
Who is that? Identify yourself.
I am that music writer. I've been on stream probably like 3 or 4 times now.
Nice.
I've been there for at least 2 Whiskey Wednesdays, I think.
That's true. That is true.
One of them was with me in it.
Yep.
Hey.
The more you know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Who made this beautiful overlay? Whiskey.
The
late whiskey made this
I have
beautiful
no
overlay.
idea. The late...
His dying breath.
Oh my God.
gave
The late
to this
whiskey.
overlay.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, it's a fantastic overlay for the game we are about to play. And, before I fumble over everything, Frosty, take it away.
All right. Well, what's going on, guys? Ladies and gentlemen. This is, thank you, beautiful cast, for showing up. This is going to be another, hopefully long-term D&D 5e game run by myself. Spent quite a bit of time prepping this game. It's going to be an interesting game. Bajan and I, Tripper and I, actually spent several days. We spent about 3 days playing Microscope and planning the lore for this world. Which thank you for the background noise, music writer. Can you please mute yourself? You're hot miking. But we spent like 3 days playing Microscope to develop the lore of this world, and I had put a city in the world that I really, really liked, which I gave a name now as Westloon, and you can go ahead and show them the map of that if you want.
Absolutely.
The city of Westloon. Westloon is a city comprised of a lot of different races that have all come together to build this giant, like, metropolis-like city, and it's don't let the size of the image fool you. Like, if Bajan, if you wanted to, just go ahead and give them a ruler from Lumen Row all the way to Waterside.
Yeah, that's...
So, like, for me, I'm doing one. It's
horrifying.
87 kilometers, so it's a massive place. Just the scale is massive. So the actual city itself, like, which is consisting of the 3 districts, Brask, Bannack, and Burlag, are massive cities. So, like, this is a huge urban style environment. And they are protected within these 3 layered walls. And the reason that they need the 3 layered walls is to the east of here and to the west of here, there are barbarian tribes that range within the thousands upon thousands of members that want to get past this city into the civilized world. So this wall keeps them out of the civilized land. And then to the south, there's a massive swamp, which goes on for, probably like 30 kilometers of swamp. And that is filled with the undead. A couple fun things about this world that you should know is the land in which Westloon is built is cursed. So anyone that dies will come back to life. So they do not bury corpses here. What they do is they actually put it down the Screaming Trail River because there's a very strong current, and they end up sending them out the southern water gates into the swamps. So the swamps are just filled with this place's undead. If you burn bodies, they come back as revenants and will hunt down the person that burned them. People here do not fuck with the dead. As soon as somebody dies, they hand their corpses over, like they pay somebody to take the corpses and dispose of them in the river. Let me see, what else? Public violence is completely outright banned here. If you are caught fighting in the street, you will be put to death, regardless of your involvement in the crime, if you were defending yourself even. So it is best not to let guards see you fight in the street at all. Public disputes here are settled it's like an open court system, but the way that it works is that, so if you had a feud with somebody, let's say Tripper and I had a feud, we could challenge each other, and then we would go to the amphitheater and fight in front of a crowd of at least 100 or more. That's the only way a fight is legal, is that you have to have at least 100 witnesses. So any disputes that happen between households here are fought in the amphitheater, which can seat several thousand audience members. So it's like a gladiatorial arena, but it's the court system. What else? What else about this world do they need to know?
Maybe the
gods
cults?
do not exist.
Yes, that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gods do not exist in this world. There is one god who created the land, and he's referred to as the Sire. He's a great dragon that his fire literally was the breath of life that created the land and everything that we see. He was opposed by one beast that lived in the ground of this land called the Serpent, which was a giant snake that popped out of the ground. And he and the Serpent fought for like 100 years. And he ended up slaying the Serpent and putting it back into the ground. And then after his fight, he grew tired, so he slept. And now is that, like, if we were to zoom out and see the whole world, the Sire is actually a giant mountain that's in the center of the map. Mm-hmm. He's just stuck there sleeping. But the thing is that we're actually focusing on a group of people that are more interested in the serpent side of things. So a lot of people worship the beast that popped out of the ground because it does have quite a few magical like properties, etc. Like demons and other types of things draw their power from this creature. So it's worshipped like it's a god, even though it's not. Religion is banned here. In terms of you can't meet in a group of 10 or more to have an organized religion. So like there are a lot of cults and things, but they meet in secret to worship whatever god they worship. So this is a pretty interesting place where it has a good mixture of freedom of religion, but you can't meet in mass. So you can worship whoever you want. You could worship a rock, but you just can't have 10 people at once following and worshiping it at the same time.
Yep.
So this is a very weird place. You're also not going to see any half races. God, there's so many things to say. You're also not going to see any half races here because interracial breeding does not work in our world. So a orc could not have sex with a human and make a half orc. There are no half orcs in the world, and the only orcs you'll ever see are full orcs. There are no half elves. There are no half, etc. So this is a very, very interesting place. Yeah, we are. But all of these little places like Boggart Row, Stockside, Waterside, Velorc, they are all cities within themselves. But we are actually going to be focusing in on one particular city, and that is Lumen Row, which is on the far left side of the map. That is the very first town or city that was built before the walls were constructed. So it is now a crippled shanty town. All of the buildings are very old and falling apart, and it's just not a very nice place. It's more or less a slum. Most of those poor people live in Lumen Row. It's stricken with poverty, starvation. A lot of people end up dying in their sleep, and so there are zombies that roam the streets at night, which people are paid to go and dispatch them. So this place is fucking a mess, and that's where our party is going to focus in on. The game, in terms of a quest line or goal, is based on what the characters themselves want. I haven't set up I do have overarching things that are happening in the city, but I'm not going to, make them be like, and now you guys have to fight a banshee who's controlling that. Like, there's none of that. Like, literally what happens in the game is going to be dictated by the cast members and what they want to pursue, not me being like, oh, now a dragon's attacking the city, we have to stop it. This isn't a game of heroes. This is a game of the pursuit of pleasure. This is a party of hedonism.
I think this is a game of mortals. That's a good way of describing it. To maybe extrapolate on that, some other things more mechanical about the game. Brennan has discussed this with us as the players, that he plans for us to be going through the first couple levels, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4, over the course of many sessions. It might actually be 3 or 4 months before we hit level 3, depending. And
depending on how it goes, we'll see how we want the pacing of the game to go. Just Certainly. Because, it depends on their plot lines, right? Because if it makes more sense for them to get higher level because they want to pursue something, and I would only be slowing them down and stopping them, of course I'll let them level up. But but I'm leveling them when I feel is fit, not when they killed 10 goblins, therefore they're level this.
Yeah, we're using the milestone system.
Yeah. It's also very much like 2E. in the fact that I made them roll for starting HP,
Oh yeah.
and I also made them roll for starting gold. And with that starting gold, they were able to purchase their gear. Not a single character in our party
What
right
gear?
now owns a weapon.
What gear are you talking about, sir?
Yeah, exactly. Or armor. None of them own weapons or armor.
I think I might own.
Which
do
is
I
going to
own?
be fucking insane.
I own nothing.
I'm just gonna say, I'm pretty sure you own 2 pieces of paper, Bijan.
Go away. I'm innocent.
Hey, I'm not any better off. I rolled a 1 on gold.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so everybody's poor as fuck.
Impossible
The other thing that you guys need to know is that I like to take monsters and homebrew them. I like to take every monster that exists and change it a little bit. So if there's some of you that are huge D&D nerds that you're like, oh fucking, a rat doesn't have pack tactics, how dare, like, just chill out. It's okay. Like, I like to fuck with every monster so that my players don't know what they can always do, because it's boring. Like when I'm fighting a monster and I know exactly what abilities it has or how much HP it has. And we get 1 death save. There's 1 death save. If you fail 1 death save in my world, you are dead after you go down. So it is going to be much easier for my party members to die. A lot easier.
Yeah, this is gonna be something. This is gonna be the most hardcore 5th edition game I've ever played in. I've ever seen any of that. This is gonna be something. But I think that Frosty has done quite a lot of world preparation, quite a lot of character creation, home ruling, and stuff like that to cater things to this setting. And I think it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting experience building enemies that have no armor.
Yeah.
Etc. And finding ways to make them interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
It's been super. Yeah, it's been super weird.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's
the
been
thing.
cool.
Both our allies and our enemies have pretty much nothing in terms of weapons and armor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So if you see somebody in plate mail, you guys would be like, "Holy shit, boy!"
Holy shit ball.
Yeah, don't mess with him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, that's what you guys hear. You guys hear that music writer. That music writer is our first guest ever to be on Loading Dice. And the way that he got in is that he is doing what our system is, which is he paid for a subscription to play. So he put in some money, he gets to play until his character dies. That's the way it's going to work. So if any of you guys are inspired to play after perhaps he dies, or maybe I feel like I can take on another cast member, then definitely get hype about that, because it is possible for you guys to play. As you can see, he's not on camera, so that those of you that don't own a camera, that's fine. We're not requiring you guys to have a camera.
Are you still going to be? Or I remember you mentioned an idea like this before, where you would also have like either enemy PCs or just other people also be done by guest players. Are you going to still do that, or is?
It kind of depends. We're testing everything out right now. You're our beta.
Experimental.
You're our beta test.
It's okay. It's okay, community. I will try to make you guys look good as Rhett sends me recommendations on Discord. Rhett, that is not even close to something my character could or would want to do. Just so you know right away.
Shouldn't the GM be the game master be the one without a webcam?
Ew.
Absolutely not, man.
No.
I was going to say, he's playing the most characters out of anyone. If anything, he needs to be the most expressive and the most visible.
How can we play without seeing his face, though? Let's be real.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I can't see your faces because I'm not in the Skype.
Exactly.
I would just give up. We're all horrible people. Okay. Well, I honestly don't think that there's anything else I can really describe.
I think the rest is just get in the world and do it.
Yeah, exactly. The rest is just kind of go and discover and play and figure out things. Should be interesting. Should be fun. Thanks for listening, guys. We're gonna not focus on the chat now. We're gonna focus on the game itself. Which all of my players in the game, I encourage you to not focus on chat until we take the break. But that's just me. And without further ado, Hedonism, ladies and gentlemen. So, we get an overshot of the city as we are circling in a pattern, and we start to notice that we're actually seeing through the eyes of a raven as it circles the district of Burlag. Down beneath the The rooftops of Burlag are made of something that heavily resembles emerald. All of the rooftops, based on the sunlight, are reflecting almost like they're mirror spotlights. So the raven has to look away to not be blinded. So we get tons of light flashes as it's flying by. The city looks normal as the most part. Everybody on the street is dressed in very extravagant clothing. A lot more high scale than you might expect for a lower district of a city. A lot of elves and drow specifically are walking throughout the streets. Everything seems calm and serene until the raven looks to its right, and we see that there are billows of smoke coming up from this large building with a giant dome with a telescope sticking out of the dome. There are seemingly people in robes throwing buckets of water or using magic to cast water at this raging inferno that has engulfed the entire dome. And just as the raven passes over it, a large section of the dome crashes and falls inward, and you see several of the people in the robes try and just barely get out of the way as the rubble starts to clutter the streets. And we get a shot from over the shoulder of a young tiefling who has his hood up, and he's looking very, very nervous. And he is about 6 or 7 blocks away from the burning inferno. He's panting heavily as if he had just run out of somewhere, and he's covered in black soot, like he was in the midst of the fire. Oh God. Oh God, the dome fell. Oh no. Oh God. And he just starts saying it. He just starts saying a small prayer under his breath. We look past him and we see a young half-elf standing there, hood up also. Oh, sorry, not half-elf, elf. Covered in soot as well, looking at his friend, trying to figure out what to do. Vishan, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. You see this man, at first you might even think he's a human. He's got very human features. He looks a little something like this. He's got this human-like face, but you see the pointed ears and then the, silk-like hair. However, he just looks like he doesn't really know what's going on, but he knows that he was responsible for it. He's just scratching his head. I read the incantation and I summoned my powers, and then
I'm gonna lose my job.
Fire.
I've lost my job. There's no way I can't pay this back. We're gonna rot in a prison cell.
We're not going.
We're gonna rot in a prison. Like he comes up to you and starts shaking his shoulders.
We're not going to. I'm really tempted to just run away, just jump away from him, but we're not going to prison. Colin, we're not going to prison. Colin. Like I grab his wrists, but very weakly. Colin, we're going to run. We're going to move quickly, but running it would assume we are guilty, though we are very guilty. We're so guilty.
Adam. He just points past you. Guards. And sure enough, you look over and you notice a patrol of the Principe walking down the street in a formation that they would. They seem to be fanning out looking for someone.
Yeah.
And immediately Colin grabs you by the hand and starts running down one of the back alleyways. As you guys start to run, a bucket of water comes flying out of one of the windows above, completely dousing you guys. Unless you can make me a decent dex save. Let's see.
Maybe. No, not me. Actually, hey.
Okay, so you both just barely. Colin jumps out of the way and you stop, and the water just right next to you flies by and splashes all over your shoes. And the water smells like ass as you realize that it was probably a chamber pot that was empty.
Don't leave me, Colin!
Yeah, he keeps running.
I run right after him, keeping an eye out, looking for escape routes, doing what I do.
Exactly. And you guys run a bit further down the alleyway.
Mm-hmm.
And just as you get out to the street, there are lots of carts and other types of people that are sort of blocking your way. And you guys realize as soon as you come running out that everybody kind of stares at you. Because Burlag is a very peaceful place, and everybody that's in it is just moving very 1 mile an hour, just very methodically, and very gracefully. And you guys just come scampering out onto the street, right? And as soon as you do that, everybody just looks at you. Like a couple ladies, one lady holds a handkerchief up to her face, and you hear a couple people whispering about you. Just, oh my, who let those two in here?
They don't belong. Yeah, as soon as you get out into the street, I just kind of grab Colin by the wrist, like, calm down, and I have an idea. Okay, all right. Just follow my lead. I just pull my cloak a bit tighter, make sure my hood is on very nicely. Just lower my head slightly, not to the point that I might be seen as, like, completely covering my identity, but I try to sort of blend in a bit.
Yeah.
And I'd like to, is it feasible that one of these carts is carrying hay?
Make me a perception check.
Okay. I have this. It is a 14.
So you're looking around. This is not the type of street that you would see that people would be carting hay back and forth.
Okay.
This is a higher class place. But you do notice that there is a very aloof-looking man that is a drow. He's sitting in the shade of a building overhang, and he seems to be smoking from some sort of large, extravagant pipe.
Oh.
And just next to him is a very, very elaborate, decorated umbrella.
Oh.
That you think is very wide, you might be able to use, because most of the higher end drow during the daytime here, they end up walking with these very extravagant umbrellas so that they don't suffer. They don't like the sun.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just sitting there and he's having a good conversation with several other drow neonate type fellows.
Yep.
And they're all laughing.
Yeah, are there any flammables around him? I know the umbrella could perhaps be flammable. But
yeah, the umbrella itself could be flammable. The tablecloth on their table would be flammable. The roof itself, though, is once again made of that weird material that is almost emerald-like. Mm-hmm. So that wouldn't do much good. And all of the buildings in this section are either brick or this very weird concrete.
Certainly. Is there a drow perhaps that is just like talking to someone who is maybe standing or sitting right next to this guy?
Yeah, like I said, there are multiple drow at the table with him, about 6 or 7.
Yeah, my intention is to be walking past him a bit, and I know I'm not a trickster rogue or anything, but what I'd like to do is, as subtly as I can, maybe behind a couple of people. I need to be within 30 feet, but maybe if I can, amidst a crowd. I'd like to use Mage Hand, it's one of my cantrips, to summon up this hand, which is visible. However, I'd like to summon it up behind one of the guys who's next to the guy smoking the pipe, and I want to smack him in the back of the head. It can't do damage, but I just want it, like a thump, basically.
Yeah. So so the one that you target in particular is a pretty fat for a drow, which is very bizarre because most of them are in very good shape or they're very thin and lanky. He's got a very chubby face, and he's sitting down, and he is hogging one of the pipes that is coming out of this large. Sorry, one of the tubes that is coming out. That
it's like a hookah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's essentially a hookah, but it's weird because it doesn't require flame.
Yeah.
So if you were to look in the center of it, there would actually be mushrooms that were crushed up. So it's like a vapor. It's like a dust that you inhale.
That's very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So he's sitting there and he's taking a large. And then I was trying to tell her that, come here, you and I can have fun, because I've got the money. But hey, yeah, and he turns around and just and the whole table itself just creaks against his weight as he goes, and then a couple of the men, as their wine glasses get knocked over because he pushes it with his stomach and spill all over them, and several of them stand up just, well, I say I never, just several, and they all start going off, just like, how dare you, he invited me to this, like, you're his friend, you talk to him, just several, just like, blah, 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 squabbling like women, but it's all these nobles.
Yeah, oh, perfect, yeah, I'd pretty much just like to use that as a distraction of sorts, and try to, just pick up my pace a tiny bit using that distraction, if I may.
Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff. As you guys are going by, Coln goes by the table, and there's a very large. It's pretty extravagant. It's a cheese knife that's sitting on a cutting board, and you see him go up and just grab it with a handkerchief and slide it into his pocket.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
you guys continue on your way.
Yeah. I watch him do that, and as we sort of get back together, I'm like, do you know how to use something like that?
Pardon?
Have you ever even attacked any? Have you ever killed someone?
No, I haven't.
I think I've killed a lot of people today, and I don't know how to use a bloody weapon like that.
He hears killed a lot of people, and he just... moment, and he goes over and starts to vomit into one of the drainage things on the side of the street.
I don't think that's necessary. They're coming, come on. I grab him by the collar while he's vomiting and just start pulling him away from the drain.
Yeah, and yeah, he reluctantly follows you. Just, I don't know what we're going to do. I have no idea what we're going to do. Do you have any family in the city that they don't know about that we could stay at? Because I don't. I certainly don't. All of my family is in fucking college.
I know where we're going, Colin. And here's the thing. I know it's pronounced Coln, but this is the thing my character does. He will do things that he like other people are obviously annoyed about and just not care.
Yeah.
Colin.
Yeah, he's reminded you probably several dozen times in the
many
last week that it's Coln.
Yeah. Colin.
But, yeah.
Colin. I have read books and heard from exactly one person that Lumen Row, the city to the west, is a great place for those who need hiding. I think it's a good idea, and well, it's the only one we've got. So.
Lumen Row. Do you have any idea what they do to people in Lumen Row? Do you know what it's like?
No. I've never been.
I've been once.
Well, explain.
Yeah, he just kind of he just stops and just once again, there's a couple people that are walking by that are very disturbed that you guys are even talking somewhat loudly.
Yeah.
That it's upsetting them.
Hurriedly, loudly, yeah.
Yeah, so he just stops and I hear that they don't throw away their dead there.
I'm sorry, what?
They don't dispose of them there. They don't. Nobody has the money.
But the government pays for. Why would the government not? Would there not be the possibility of some kind of undead insurrection from the place? I mean,
they don't have any toilets there. People shit in the streets.
They don't have
there.
No. I might have to reconsider my plan.
yeah.
I lean against a wall.
I might have to reconsider my plan.
Lean against a wall, I mean, we could try brass, but even the thought of that mercantile.
I couldn't stand that, being around a bunch of humans. Brask is primarily human nobles.
Yep.
And they're notorious for being drunkards, cruel, and just completely grotesque.
City pleasure house. Got
it.
Okay, so we're not going to Brask. And Banak is off the table. We are.
You start to hear the very familiar sound of boots marching in a very methodical.
Okay, lay low. Let's just get on the road to Luton Road. Maybe we'll find a friend or something. Just
right.
Come on.
It's let's just
nothing.
See if maybe somebody will take. And just as he starts to say that, you hear just a, "Hey, you two!" And a guy points out at you guys. I have some questions for you.
I just slowly turn my head, and who do I see?
There is a guardsman that is in the middle of the street. There's a large crowd in between you and him, and he is very clearly pointing at you guys, walking towards you. He seems to be a sergeant of some kind.
It's a guardsman, you say? Yeah. He approaches, and are we on sort of a arterial road at this point, or are we on sort of a side street?
You guys are on this. You guys are on a side street.
Okay, cool. So not massive traffic.
But the thing is, it's still there. It is a very
traffic.
Nice area. Like I said, you guys you guys do not look like you belong here.
Absolutely. Yeah, we both look like we just came from a fire. So yeah, no, and it's a single guy. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. And he's approaching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, I would be more than happy to oblige. Sir, look behind you immediately. Yeah, I point just behind him.
So he's going to make an intelligence check. Roll me a deception. Oh my god! So here's the thing. Against his better judgment, he's like, he looks at you for a second. And he goes and he turns.
Well, the best part, Frosty, is that as soon as he breaks eye contact and starts looking around, I immediately start casting Minor Illusion. And
Nice.
I would like to, I'm assuming that there is maybe a corner off into an alley or something, 30 feet away, perhaps?
Yeah, you guys are pretty close.
That direction?
So you guys are near the end of another street that would go to another alley.
Yeah.
So you could make some sort of an illusion that there was like something blocking it.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. As long as it's in the direction that he could possibly be looking. And I want to make it look like, there is a dead body right in the intersection that he would see as soon as he turned around.
Oh my god! Yeah. So he just looks.
And as soon as he
What
looks
does he
at
have
it, I
to?
just
What does
wanna
he have
run.
to do? Does he have to make another? Well, actually, he made a nat 1, so I don't think he would
Well,
notice.
I mean, that's the thing. If he thinks it is an illusion, then he can make a check. But I don't know.
Well, he just walked over it, right? So
he just came from there. So
he
yeah.
just came from there. So he didn't just stumble over a dead
Oh,
body.
of course.
So I'm gonna have him make a check.
Yeah, certainly. The thing is, I create the illusion, and as soon as he is paying attention to it, I want to start running.
Oh god.
But the thing is, I just want there to be this confusion in his head.
Yeah. So he looks. I'm gonna make him make a check. What's
Sure.
the check?
It would be, I believe, an intelligence saving throw. Nice.
Yeah,
he definitely
so he just,
sees it's an
he
illusion.
just looks at it, and the thing is that for some reason the illusion that you made is a body of a it's not quite constructed well enough to where it's some sort of weird half-breed between a human and a drow that's a female and a male.
Yeah.
So he just looks at it and he's like,
What?
and he turns around and he sees that you're taking off running, and Colin is standing there staring at him sort of dumbfoundedly, and then looks at him and then notices that you're gone and is like, fuck.
It's like a Wile E. Coyote moment.
Yeah, exactly. And the guard is just like, yeah, I'm gonna need you two for some question. And he starts to move towards him, and Colin just starts taking off running. And being that you guys are not in any sort of armor, you guys will probably be able to outrun this guy.
Nice. Okay, alright. I'm assuming might be a check of some kind?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you guys dexterity with advantage, just because you guys aren't wearing anything, like
We're
I
not
said.
weighed down by anything.
And you guys are kind of in adrenaline mode.
Okay. Simply a dexterity or an athletics? Or just as dexterity?
Just do dexterity.
Okay. Oh my god. Weird. Blaze. Oh no, Cole!
So he starts to run after Colm, and Colm is having a really hard time getting away. So he runs up and stamps on the back of Colm's cloak, and he just goes, "Ugh," and he gets choked by it and falls back onto his back, slamming his head
shit.
against the ground.
Oh, fuck.
And would you like to do anything?
I would.
Yeah.
God damn it. I don't want to die this.
Oh, by the way, for those of you that don't know, because I haven't actually shown Colm yet. This is Colm.
This is Colin. See, he looks really gruff and stuff, but he's a nerd. Like, I think he was
Well,
like
the
a
thing
like.
is, he's
yeah.
just very obviously a boy still.
Yes. Yeah, he's young.
He's got really big horns, but he's still a boy, and he's quite short too. He's not
Yeah.
very tall. He's about 5'4", and he's scrawny.
And he's my friend from the place that we just burned down.
Yeah.
Does the guard seem like pretty distracted with? Oh wait. Okay.
Yeah. Well, at this point, he just stomped on the back of his thing, and the fact that Colin pretty much wiped himself out, he's just he hasn't even drawn his sword. He's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh god, this is not gonna work. But Oh my fucking god. Am I far enough ahead that I could potentially like loop around a building so I could get either beside or behind the guard?
there's just you would have to run down to the end of the alleyway, run around
That'd
the
take a
entire
while.
building, and then come back. So it would take you a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want that. Okay. I think. There's some traffic around here, right? As in, there's people around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, you're in the back alley, so no, there's not a lot of people.
Okay. This is gonna be.
Unless you started running down the street, but I didn't think you wanted to
No.
run through the crowd.
No,
so.
no. God, I wish I'd given myself better charisma. Yeah, I'm going to, against my better judgment, turn around, preferably while I am 15 feet away from the two men. And I'm going to stick out my hands toward them.
Oh, God.
I'm going to shout at the guard, "Guard! I know you're just doing your job, but if you do not leave this instant, I will fry you like a fish!"
He just like looks at you for a moment.
Have you ever eaten fried cod? What did he say?
He just looks at you. He goes, "Really?"
I'm twitching at him.
And
like
he looks down at you too. He looks down at Colin, looks up at you again. "You really think I'm scared of a pair of street sweepers?" And Colin looks at him sort of confused. You look at him sort of confused.
Yeah.
"I was just mentioning that you know you're not supposed to be on that street. Not during daylight hours. We could have you whipped for that." And Colin's just looking at him, and then he looks at the soot all over him and is like, "Yes."
Colin,
Yes,
tell this
right.
man I'm the greatest mage that ever lived! And I get this really crazy look on my face. And I start acting delirious.
Yeah, you just get this look on your face, and then Cole just kind of puts his hands up and he's like, "You're right, we're street sweepers. We lost our brooms, and we were looking for them."
Colin, I'm hungry!
"You're right, I'm sorry." Yeah, he's just like, "You're right, I'm sorry." And the guard is just looking at him just like, "Right, I don't have time for this. Just don't be out on the street anymore. Go." "Go!" And he kicks the back of Colin's head.
Aww.
And it's like,
Got away with
"Fuck."
it.
Yeah, he hits him right on the horns, right? And it makes that clunk like he just smacked a hoof.
Yep.
And Colin's like, okay, yeah. So he just gets up and he starts to walk towards you or whatever. And Colin's robe is completely ripped. Like, it's completely destroyed.
Is he gone? Just gonna
Yeah, the
shield
guard's just
myself
looking.
using Colin.
Go on now. Go.
Yeah, and I just start. I don't run. I just do this weird hobble and hunch over slightly, doing a really bad job of being someone else.
Yeah. And
Going
he's
down
just
the alley.
And Colin just walks up to you and, "The hell was that?
Don't question my tactics.
You almost got me killed, and you almost got you killed.
Look,
Don't ever fucking do that again." And yeah, he's just like,
you're probably right.
Did he chip one of my horns? Like, he's just holding the back of it,
Yeah.
he's just trying to see.
I'm gonna look at it, see that he probably did some serious cosmetic damage, perhaps.
Yeah, it's scuffed really bad.
Yeah, I'm like, it'll buff right out. It's fine. Do you shine those things? I just look at him really closely, uncomfortably closely. Ooh.
Fuck you. And he just starts to walk
I like this
down one of the alleyways, and
Yes.
we just get a shot that pans up, and we notice that you guys are heading towards the gate that leads out of Burlag and would lead to Lumen Row. You guys are about here in the city. So it'll take you a good little ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, you guys start to just walk on your merry way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And as we pull out, we get a shot of a pair of little of this little cart, and the cart has different little things of breads. It looks like breads, but they do not look very appetizing at all. They look very bland and very gross, kind of burnt, like they were made in a clay oven that wasn't very well built. And it's a few stacks of them, and we see a man standing next to them, and he is talking to another man trying to sell something. But we see this little hand come just from out of frame and grab the loaf of bread and start to slowly pull it back. And the hand is very small, that of a child. And as we see the hand retract, it comes back into the close-up of this little girl. And I will show you who we see. We see this little girl. And she's looking left and right very, very frantically just to see if anybody noticed her. And she starts to sneak back very, very slowly. And the man, almost the clockwork, as soon as she starts to turn back, he he gets like something, he just gets the notion, and he goes to turn around. And as he turns around, all we see is this big, massive form of this orc. And this orc is standing there with both of his arms behind his back with this stupid smile on his face. And Harvey, if you would like to explain.
Yeah, so if Rajan, you'd like pull up the picture of it, cheeky picture. Yeah, so he's probably stand around 6'8", 6'9", that sort of height. He might not be that tall for orc standards, but he's wide. He's proper, he's a thick boy. He's got like short sort of black hair that kind of spikes out of his head. And he's got like this brow, this thick brow that kind of furrows on itself, and a scruffy chin and a big chest. And he's just a huge dude.
Yeah, and you're just standing there with this big look on your smile, and this little merchant, he gets taken aback for a second, not just noticing that you were there, and just, where the fuck did you come from? And he looks around. He looks around at his bread and notices that one's missing. And what's that you got behind your back? Oi!
I ain't got nothing, I swear.
Yeah, and the thing is that you as soon as you go, I ain't got nothing, I swear, you put both of your hands like this, and you show him both of your hands, and we get the shot of Katerin hanging onto the back of your vest, just hanging there and hiding herself behind your torso.
Yeah,
and she's holding this thing of bread. Yeah, and you just go and you start to wipe your nose, and he looks at you, noticing that none of your clothing contains pockets at all. It'd be very hard for you to hide a piece of bread of that size. He just looks at you and, all right then, fuck off. I don't want you next to my stand scaring people away. And he just spits next to you, and part of it lands on your boot.
Yeah, I sort of like lift my foot up, like trying to not stumble. And I just
yeah, exactly. And this orc just very pleasantly like puts his hand up and starts to walk away, and just the guy turns around and starts having the conversation with the guy that he was having again, and she is just still holding onto the back of your vest.
Yeah, so I need to turn around, but not like with her sitting on my back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we get this really awkward shot of you just like keeping your back to him, like still just kind of like walking inching backwards, right? But like at this point, like he thinks that you're an idiot, so he's like disregarding you.
That's how you get them, boys.
Yeah,
that's how you get them. Yeah, so I'm just walking back as far as I can, and then when I think they're not in eyesight, I'm just like pull her around to the front, and then
yeah, exactly. And when you pull her around to the front, she weighs nothing. She weighs like maybe not even 50 pounds. She is a tiny little thing. You just pick her up and you very gently put her on the ground, and she goes up to just past your knee. That's how tiny she is.
No,
and
right, that was proper stealth. I mean, that was proper stealthy.
Yeah, and she looks at you and she looks really happy, and she pulls out the loaf of bread from her little vest, and she just like ushers you to come around one of the corners. And
yeah, like hunch over.
All right, here you are. And she goes and she starts. She rips part of the bread, and she rips off a bigger half for you, and just kind of holds it up.
Yeah, I like take it in the big meat haunch, and I look at it. Yeah, and I sort of take like a big chunk of it out, like with my fingers, like really crudely.
Yeah.
Or like sort of goes into a ball, and then I put it back in there. I never liked this crusty stuff anyway. And then I shove the other bit in the mouth.
Yeah, and as you do that, she's like, "Aye, make it last."
What?
That's all we got for a little while.
Yeah,
and almost like a mother sort of scolding you, but this tiny little frame just kind of putting her finger up and just like, make it last. That's all we got. You're going to be hungry tonight and you're going to complain.
He
Stop
like
it.
puts his fingers in his mouth and like takes a little bit out and like puts it in. Like,
Yeah. Just shoves it and just puts it back in. Yeah. And she's like, good. That was close.
You read it all the time. You're proper sneaky, you are, aren't you? Walking about with your tiny little feet.
Yeah, and she goes and just leans up against one of the walls. And the thing is, as you say tiny little feet, we notice that one of her feet is crooked just a tiny bit, even though she's standing straight, like she has a bit of a bum leg. So she wouldn't be the greatest at running, you don't think? For the audience watching. She's not an outright cripple where she needs a cane to walk, but she is not in the best sort of physical shape in terms of her feet. Just one of them look bent slightly, like she had busted it really bad maybe when she was younger and it didn't get set properly back. And she's just right. Well, there's not much happening here now that we have breakfast. Maybe we could head over towards the Noble, see if there's any people out with, get some pocket watches, try and make something.
Yeah, and I sort of go, like this, like fake pondering. Well, it'll be sitting here in the mud, didn't it? Let's have a walk, shall we? Yeah.
Right, and and she goes to grab you, and just sort of like clockwork, you grab her and set her on top of your back shoulder, and she just kind of sits there, like it's a little like your shoulder's just like a seat for her. And at this point, with her sitting down, she's as tall as your head, sitting up, right, and so it's
That's
just so she's almost like a parrot on your shoulder, and you guys start walking down the road. Happy with yourself that you were able to get something. She's munching on the bread that she has stolen, eating it very, very quickly, but also like you can see that she has the discipline of like not having as much as she wants, just because she probably hasn't eaten in a few days.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe if we're lucky, we'll find a little rat and I can smack it, and then we can eat it.
Right. Well, if you want rats, I saw some. Well, here, come down this way. And she just points, and she tugs on this collar that you're wearing. And this is the first time that we actually get to notice this, as the audience, is that we see that there is a collar, presumably what a slave would wear, on his neck. But when we get a close-up shot of it, we realize that there's no locking mechanism to it, so it's there more for show than actual functionality. Like somebody couldn't use this to actually restrain Dusty, but it's there just as some sort of like deterrent from people thinking that he's walking there himself. Because as we get a shot of the marketplace, we notice that there are no orcs anywhere besides Dusty. And he's a very weird thing to see. And we get the idea that maybe orcs aren't very common or very liked in this area, especially as people, when we see people make eye contact with Dusty, they just look away, or just, some people will like utter a swear under their breath or spit in his direction.
I'm used to it at this point, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're used to kind of the hatred. And you guys start walking down one of the alleyways towards where she thought that she had seen some rats, but as you guys are walking down that alleyway, we are going to cut back to Colin and Adam. And well, actually, what time is it?
It is 7:20.
7:20. I guess we'll take a break, and then we'll I guess we'll take a break just for the VOD's sake, and then we'll continue on.
Not bad, my boy.
Yeah.
My brother in arms. I think I might
There you go.
These fucking characters.
I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say
know.
that's what I was thinking. Also, this is not the